Yes!
Crow's got company. Top GB shot Hannah Gibson swaps the clays for her first ever day on the real thing. With the partridge season upon us, Mark Windsor, who incidentally coaches Hannah, explains how to be barrel tidy.
If I'm talking to the camera now and all of a sudden I put my hand up in the way, I'm going to want to lift my head or look round it if I don't move my hand. And basically the same thing happens with a gun.
We're also taking a step closer to the real thing going on a sim day in Somerset. We've got news, we've got hunting YouTube. Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Most top-class clay shots shoot game, but even though Hannah Gibson's other half is a gamekeeper, she has never had a day on the pigeons. To the rescue comes Captain Crow, who is more than happy to make a hide big enough for a guest.
Backside is up through its rib cage, or its breastbone, up its neck, into its head.
And it should.
That should be alright.
Okay.
This is Hannah Gibson. All the clay shooting world know her. Shoots for England. So she's well known in the clay world, and this is one that put my name, the name on the door of my JCB, which I quite like as it goes.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't get in trouble too much.
And as I liked it, she's been badgering me ever since. Can I have a day on the pigeon? She's never shot pigeons before, so this is a first for her. I've only shot pigeons twice, so I'm at a little bit of an advantage. So no, so it's going to be I think it's going to be a great laugh in the hide. She's even brought some food, unlike you, David, which is good. Which is good. That's a good start.
You've had lollies.
I didn't have a lolly.
I didn't have a lolly.
Don't know what you're talking about.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. We've left a couple of bales out in the field here. What it is, the pigeons are coming through here up the top of the hill, cut down through and go out that way. So there's someone going on the beans, so I'm here just to try and keep them moving around to keep things going, really. But yeah, like you say, it's usually concealment, but the bales have been here, they're used to the bales being out here. It's just a case of putting a few branches on there, try and keep the sun off us today, because we're stuck out in the middle of the field, so hopefully we'll get a few good shots.
With everyone cool as a calippo, we start shooting. Hannah may be a fantastic clay shot, but the pigeon hide is Andy's natural habitat, and there is lots to learn to adapt her shooting skills to cope with this challenging bird.
Right, shoot his feet off. Shot. I don't know how your gun shoots, but I would have shot his feet off. Yeah.
What do you mean by shot his feet off, Craig?
I just shoot underneath it. It's coming in, and as it's coming in, it's dropping. But we're on a hill, so it looks like it's coming flat, but it ain't. It's dropping. Right, another one coming in on the left. Get yourself right down. Right, bring yourself up onto it. Another nice shot. You just got to get in your head, you've got to come down, because they see you just as they come up, and just come up onto it.
Don't panic on it.
There's no rush, you've got loads of time. And don't shoot them so far out. It's either me or the dog's got to go and pick them up, so can you shoot them a bit closer?
No problem.
Yeah, the dog's used to shooting them up, picking them up at about 20 yards.
I didn't want to say that.
Well, and I'd appreciate if you killed it with the first shot as well.
I know.
Yes! Good girl!
It's also a partnership in the hide. Teamwork is far more effective than every shooter for him or herself. And then, most importantly, there is safety. Ear protection is also crucial, with two guns blasting away in close proximity. And he's got some new green Varios to go with his eyes. It all boils down to communication. Talking of which, let's find out a bit more about Hannah's shooting career and why she's never been pigeon shooting.
So Hannah, this incredibly, is your first time in a pigeon hide.
It is, yeah.
Why is it taking so long?
I would say partly due to my other half.
Yeah.
3.5 years ago, he promised me a day on the pigeons, and yeah, I'm still waiting. So Andy came up with the goods.
He's not shy with coming up with the goods.
No.
So you just bored of my company having to bring other people into the hide now? Is that the whole point of it?
No, it's not. I get as much enjoyment out of watching people that can shooting pigeons, as doing it myself. That's why I've been letting Hannah have a few shots. She's been shooting really well.
So I started shooting when I was 12 years old. My dad shot quite a lot of clays and a bit of game as well. And it was sort of, Dad, can I come with you? And from that point onwards, after kind of first couple of goes, I was hooked and haven't looked back since. Been shooting now for 14 years and it's given me some amazing opportunities as well. Really, really lucky to be involved in it.
And what about your year? What was the sort of highlight of your season?
This year for me, I think shooting the World Championships and coming third overall in ladies and also winning team gold was a massive highlight for me. I think George set a really good course. It was tough, but that's how a World Championship should be.
Crow's setup is delivering birds and there is lots of clearing up to do. It's tough going in this heat and that leads to lots of issues. Firstly, the dog needs to be looked after with plenty of water. And secondly, there are the birds themselves. Unless you can keep them cool, the dead pigeons will rot in the field and that's just irresponsible. It is one of the reasons Andy has held off shooting big days during this hot summer.
If I go out and shoot a big bag, I've got an hour's journey at the end of the day. They're going to heat up and they're going to be rotten. Half of them are going to be rotten, so I'd rather not shoot them as that. So it's all right if you've got a chiller. No, the best thing to do is keep them in the shade and keep them as cool as possible. We were out in the middle of the field and today and there don't seem to be many flies out. They don't seem to get out in the middle of the field quite so much. But it's just, don't stack them on top of each other. As soon as you start doing that, then they're cooked.
After lunch, the birds slack off a bit. Andy says there are lots of places for them to feed at this time. With so much of the harvest done, they're spread far and wide, and they've also been shot at quite a bit by now. We see good individual efforts and that all-important teamwork.
Kill it. All the time that's committing, that's coming into the decoys, we'll leave it. Especially if there's more than one of them. If there's two of them, let them come right in. As long as the first one can be landed on the ground and you take the further one. But it's all stuff you learn. Yeah. It's stuff I've learned by my own mistakes, but no, you've picked it up well. You've shot some good birds, so that's been good fun. Oh, good. Yeah, it's been good fun. It's been lovely.
It looks like we're heading for 100, which for a first day in a pigeon hide is more than respectable. It won't be long before Hannah will have hands like Andy. Maybe not. But one thing we do learn is that Andy does moisturise.
Does that stain, that blood?
It does. It's a job to get out. If you have a big day, cut 100. But at the end of the day, that's grounded. It does take a lot of getting out. I sometimes put barrier cream on before I start, but 9 times out of 10 you forget. So, but
you put barrier cream on?
Well, it's like a moisturiser, isn't it?
Any particular brand of barrier cream?
Well, whatever I get hold of. It's not women's stuff and all that.
I wasn't suggesting it was. But I was thinking, most pigeon shooters wouldn't leave home without Nivea or Vino or
an FF5.
That's cool. Nick Tate's now doing moisturiser.
Yeah.
No, honestly, is it tricky to get out?
Yeah, I do use barrier cream now to get it. It's the same stuff I use when I'm doing service on the tractor and that. Just stops it going into the pores of your hand.
Beauty and pigeon shooting tips all in one place.
Yeah. Oh, lovely.
With the birds slackening off and the skies looking dark, we start packing up.
Shot like me, missed some easy ones, shot some real good ones. No, we've had a great day. No, it's been brilliant. don't know if she'll come again, but I dare say she will. I dare say she'll invite herself along again.
Hannah loves her shooting, and if she ever needed another reason to get behind a shotgun, we think she's found it. Thank you, Hannah and Andy. And Hannah has been doing very well on the competitive scene ever since. Could that be a coincidence? Now, from the top of the competitive tree to the bottom of Nowheresville, it's David on the Fieldsports Channel News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Channel News. A small group of MPs is trying to sneak in a ban on children using air guns. The government wants to ban 50 cal rifles and Mars action rifles because it believes that the almost zero criminal activity from legal gun ownership is causing the current explosion in knife and gun crime in UK cities. As a result, it's trying to railroad through the offensive weapons bill. Anti-gun MPs Karen Smythe, Louise Haigh, Vicky Foxtrot are taking advantage of the bill and have proposed clauses to be added to Section 23 to stop anyone under the age of 18 from having a gun on private property other than as part of a sporting club. Prince George could be having nightmares as a consequence of watching a grouse shoot, according to animal activists. Filmed here on his first day at school last year, the 5-year-old prince reportedly recently went grouse shooting at Balmoral. The Antis have been struggling to take hold of the grouse shooting news agenda since the Glorious 12th and a number of positive stories about grouse shooting. As a result, they've turned on the royal family. Meanwhile, Prince Harry's absence from Balmoral has of course led to them predicting he has become a vegan. A deer stalker has hung upside down for 2 days from his stand. Eddie Volker from Oregon in the USA is in a critical condition after getting tangled in his harness more than 20 feet in the air and hanging upside down for 2 days. While local police and rangers were getting him down from a bucket truck, Volker lost consciousness and his heart stopped beating because blood flow that had been cut off to his lower body was suddenly restored. A member of a caribou hunting party has been killed by a polar bear in northern Canada. Daryl Kalnak from Nunavut was attacked by a mother polar bear and her cub. Other hunters were injured in the attack and had to wait 3 days guarding their friend's body from other bears before they were rescued. This is the second fatal polar bear attack in the area this year. And finally, an American state is using a very fast way to fill mountain lakes with fish. They drop them by plane. Utah's Division of Wildlife Resources, which released footage of a drop, said that the practice was less stressful for the fish and that 95% of them survived the fall. These trout are being dropped to populate lakes lacking natural reproduction. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.
Thank you, David. Now, one thing we didn't mention last week for you die-hard field sports fanatics was the KSI versus Logan Paul fight. And the reason I bring it up is because KSI, long before he became a multimillionaire, was on our channel shooting real rifles as opposed to the pretend rifles he shoots on his own gaming channel. And you can have a look at that film we made quite a few years ago by clicking on the eye symbol on the top right of the screen. I think he should fight one of us. Maybe Paul. Anyway, here is Mark Windsor on partridges.
Okay, so here we are at Royal Berkshire on the partridge drive. We're going to be looking at a couple of targets, mainly your crossing partridge. We're going to look at one thing that I like to pride myself on, and that's being tidy with the barrel. A lot of people just forget about where the barrel is travelling to when a bird presents itself. They'll just put the barrel up in the air and then they've got work to do when they get there. So we're going to try and look at being barrel tidy when we adapt ourselves and moves to the bird. Okay, so we're going to look at a couple of targets now. So the first one we're going to look at is the left to right, the low one here. Okay, ball. Okay, so it comes out on a nice flat line to start off with. and then all of a sudden by the time it's in our shooting area where we'd be comfortable to shoot it, it changes direction. So there's actually a reason that you would have to be barrel tidy here, okay? I'll show you that now. Okay, so when the bird arrives, okay, obviously we've got a clay target going across us, we know exactly what's going to happen. When the bird arrives, we don't want the barrel doing anything it doesn't need to be doing, okay? So when I say barrel tidy, we're basically going to place the end of the barrel somewhere in relation to the bird, okay? And you'll see it on the shot cam, but it basically gives me an advantage over the bird. So when it arrives, I can keep it in sight all the way through to the shot of where I feel comfortable to shoot it. You'll see that with the barrel cam now, okay? Ball. So I arrive low, I shoot the bird. I'll show you one more time. I'll arrive low, pull. Okay, so when I say arrive low, that keeps the target or the bird above the barrel. So effectively, I'm not going to block the target out with the end of the barrel, which can cause a number of things. You're looking at a head lift. The left eye could take over if you shoot with both eyes open because the target is underneath the barrel, okay? What I will do is I'll show you an untidy shot on a partridge because then that can give you an idea of what I'm actually talking about, okay? So now we'll do two more. So this is your typical untidy shot, okay? So I'm not caring where the barrel's going, and that's going to give me a lot of work to do to then find the bird downrange. Okay, so ball. So if I arrive above it, I've got to drop, and you can see I don't get a good shot and it delays me. I'm shooting it maybe 20 yards further out. I'll show you one more. So watch the barrel arrive above the bird. It's an untidy barrel. Ball. Above, I've got to drop. And unfortunately there, we don't get the shot. You can see that the partridge has already seen me. It's changed its direction. It's dropped to wing. It's descended 10 feet in a second. I'm not quick enough to change like that. So just that tiny little bit of untidy barrel is giving me 10 times harder shot down range. So another way of explaining how you should always try your best to be barrel tidy is basically when we're shooting, it's an attention activity. We're looking at the bird. We want to be making sure our concentration is not disturbed in any way when we're approaching the target and when we're shooting it. So if I'm talking to the camera now and all of a sudden I put my hand up in the way, I'm going to want to lift my head or look round it if I don't move my hand. And basically the same thing happens with a gun. If that barrel is a big object in front of our face, if that barrel comes up and blocks the target in any way, you won't even know that your head will just lift not even a centimetre off the stock. And then you're looking at a head lift, and out there the shot can change anything by 2 to 3 feet, which at 40 odd yard matters a hell of a lot. You know, so you're always trying to be as tidy as you can with the barrel. Obviously when you've got quite a few partridge coming at you, sometimes the excitement factor kicks in. We all get it, you know, we go for that bird. We might be a little bit barrel tidy, but we want to be looking that we're keeping it all tidy all the way through the shot. So the cartridge I'd recommend for a partridge of that nature would be a 30 gram 6 black gold. Something I use very often. Throws a lovely pattern. You're not overcrowding it with big pellets. It's a lovely good spread pattern all the way through the shot, and typically for a soft bird like a partridge, you're looking for pattern over shot size really to do the job at that range. So now I'm going to show you the steps you need to go through when it comes to footwork for placing for a shot. Okay, two things that can go wrong here. If we place our feet in the wrong area, so too early on the bird, we're going to be making a shot on the right side of our body, which our feet can't take the balance of our body to kill it perfectly in that position there. Okay. The second thing we're looking at is to place the feet in the position that we need to be shooting at, rather than the position we need to be looking onto the bird, which is here. So to start off with, I know that the bird is going to go left to right across me. Okay. My kill point is over in this right hand corner. If I don't set my feet for my kill point where the bird's going to be shot, I'm going to be off balance and everything's going to go wrong, especially if the bird's changing course, which that target is. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, obviously on a day you're going to need to try and make the feet get into the position as quick as possible, because obviously the birds have got a natural will to live. They're going to get through as quick as possible. Okay, so when the target comes out, I'm going to set my feet for the corner side here, which is where I'm going to break the target, and the gun will stick back to the target to pick it up in order to move through to the kill point. Okay, so First of all, feet aren't set correctly for the kill point. So when the bird comes out, I'm going to set them for that area there. Pull. So I change the feet, I lock on, kill the target. One more time. So the feet are wrong. Target presents, pull, change the feet for where I want to kill it. Nice and comfortable all the way through the shot. And if you watch there, the front of the barrel will travel right away across the sky there. So if my feet aren't in place at the key point, I don't get a comfortable shot at that target. So feet would be, in my opinion, one of the most important parts of a shot on any game bird.
Okay, Mark, final thought for anyone going partridge shooting.
Okay, so firstly, enjoy your day, be safe, but also, think on your feet, be prepared to be mobile on your feet. Try to keep the barrel doing as little as possible, basically. My favourite saying is smooth is fast. Okay, so a tidy barrel, you don't want to be moving the end of the barrel around too much to add work to a hard shot already. And also just make sure you're moving your feet. Try and prepare for that bird if you know it's going in a direction and it's going to give you a nice shot downrange past your ear. Get the feet moving, over exaggerate the feet, never cut them short because again that can throw up more problems. So yeah, be prepared to be mobile.
Thank you, Mark. And now quite a lot of people who should have watched that before they went on their simulated game day.
That, oh, beautiful.
Fancy getting your eye in ready for the pheasant season? For the price of a couple of good lessons, you can go on a simulated pheasant day, which are held all over the country during the summer months. Somerset Driven Clay Shooting is running this day on the edge of Exmoor.
We travel around, use a lot of different ground we've got here, some really nice steep ground in different areas to create the best clays and make it as realistic as possible for those high pheasant drives and partridge drives that we get here in West Somerset.
Rich should have been a farmer, and only a farmer, but he loves his shooting.
The family have farmed here for a number of years, yes, yeah, I'm third generation. I do enjoy shooting a lot, yeah, I've always shot. I shot clays at uni, and I've run a pheasant shoot for a number of years on the farm, and now recently started running simulated game days. So these bits of ground that are awkward to do much with farming wise are very, very good for these simulated game days, yes, yeah.
A sim day is of course like the biggest pheasant day you can imagine, but with clays. So there is plenty to shoot at.
Luckily nobody can see which clays I'm going for, so it's ideal.
Rich makes sure that the birds are coming in the same kind of unexpected waves you get on a real pheasant shoot.
Good plays, Keith, let's have another pause and then a big flush, please.
The day is organised in drives, just like a pheasant shoot. There is plenty of refreshment between drives, a chance to have a go at each other's shooting and be self-critical.
Now, it's bound to do me good because I shot like a drain to start with, and then I did eventually do a little bit better, and then I said to my partner in crime, I'm in now, roll it, and I proceeded to miss the next two. So, but I'm sure as the day goes on, I will improve, hopefully.
If you have a big day coming up this season, a sim day nearby is a good way to prepare for it.
Yeah, we had some people that came down, they travelled a couple of hours, a group of guns that were going to shoot at Chaga in November, so they wanted to test themselves out on the high birds that we've got. We've got some ground that we own right next to Coombe Sydenham shoot, and we did those drives for that particular team that day, and it worked well. They really enjoyed it, and they're talking about coming back on another day later this month as an extra practice day.
This is also a great opportunity to try out new kit. One of the guns turns up in an unusual vehicle for a shooter, but maybe we'll see more of these. It's a battery-powered 6-seater Tesla, and he likes it, except for one aspect.
I think it'll take up as a great shoot vehicle for guns. Unfortunately, if you're a gun who likes to have a dog with him, it might not be quite so convenient.
You think they could fix that?
I think they could. I think you have to make sure you don't go for the 6-seater model, go for the 7 or the 5. And yeah, that's that problem solved. You just put a dog guard in the back. It'll be quite interesting to see if I get out of this particular field today. If we have a shower of rain, I've got no problem.
No problem.
But everybody else will have a problem as well if it does rain. Yeah.
The good news is that it doesn't rain, and the Tesla makes short and silent work of the steep Brendan Hills. We are out at the end of August, which is almost the end of the simulated game season.
We start in mid-March, leave it a month or 6 weeks after the end of the season, and then we start then and go right the way through until the end of September. And then we switch over to pheasant shooting at the middle of October. But this time of year we use drives away from our pens of birds, just so we're not disturbing the birds too much, but they seem to get along with it pretty well.
You can come as a group or as an individual. This shoot is £145 per gun per day, and you will probably spend the same again on the 500 fibre wad cartridges you will probably shoot most of. For more, search for Somerset Driven Clay Shooting on Facebook. Well, thank you to my old mate Andrew Yulden for inviting me on that day, and of course to Rich Webber for organising it. And if you're interested in Somerset Driven Clay Shooting, Rich has got a couple of slots left on sim days before the end of the month, plus a couple of slots for pheasant shooting starting in the middle of October. Now, from Somerset to the wider world of hunting and shooting on YouTube, it is Hunting YouTube. This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. It's last of the summer whatsits in the Northern Hemisphere this week, with summer deer stalking from County Deer Stalking. They are out after English roe and muntjac at the height of the hot weather. Next, Andy's range is on summer shotgun pest control. He and Tom take to the fields to thin out the crows and the pigeons. And for those who like to escape to the Med for the summer, a big hitter in Spanish hunting circles in the last week is this film, Cazar del Macho Montes, Lances de Cazar from Cazar con Nosotros, basically stalking in the mountains. Further afield, Denmark-based hunting agency Limpopo and Diana Jagtreiser offers buffalo hunting with Omujevi hunting safaris. In this film, which requires a working knowledge of Russian, which I certainly don't have, they are out walking up Mouflon, is the only way I can describe it. It worked well for me with the sound off and a little Prokofiev in the background. And next to the USA and the Idaho mallard hunt. This is episode 1 from the Benelli Shotgun Blues from the This Life Ain't For Everybody channel, and host Chad shares his blind with the SEAL Special Operations Chief Jake Young, plus Nashville singer-songwriter Leith Lofton. Deer Camp Productions is out hog hunting with dogs and rifle in what turns out to be a successful day. And finally, it's the Josh James vlog number 82, and among other stuff, the Kiwi bushman is possuming for possums in southwestland New Zealand. That's it for this week. I've put all these films into a playlist for you. Click on the I symbol top right or check this film's description. If you have a YouTube film you would like us to pop into the weekly top 8, email me the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. Well, that is it for this week. If you haven't done so already, please pop over to our website, fieldsportschannel.tv. You can click to like us there on Facebook and on Instagram. You can follow us on Twitter. You can subscribe to us on YouTube. You can pop your email address into our register page and we'll contact you about this show. Field Sports Britain is at 7 PM UK time every Wednesday. And you can also jump from there to our page on investory.com, where you can become a Field Sports Channel backer, an angel, a dragon. You can join the Field Sports Nation. In short, you can buy shares in Field Sports Channel. I urge you to do that, of course. I will see you next week. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.